Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. My name is Luke and welcome to the channel. As the next generation of video game consoles rapidly approaches, more information is released every day and it has quickly matched 2020 in its complex absurdity. With so much to sift through, deciding which gaming console is right for you can be daunting, so I've gathered all the most important facts and then I'm going to help you decide which console is right for you. Before we get into it, I'm super excited to finally be giving this a shot, so if you enjoy the video or just my silky smooth voice, please like and subscribe for future gaming news. And with that out of the way, let's talk consoles. Pricing is normally simple. Console X will be X amount and console Y will be Y amount, and both costs will be similar, but likely different by $100 or so. This time around though, that is definitely not the case. The most important difference between consoles stems from the fact that there are actually 4 different consoles coming out. 2 from Microsoft, the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, and 2 from Sony, the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Digital or Discless Edition. Both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X will end up costing the same at $499 US. That should be nice, as it should prevent price from influencing our decision, and if you plan on getting one of these versions, then that can be the case, but there is a way to pay even less for the Xbox Series X, technically. But more on that in just one second. The Xbox Series S and PS5 Digital are the 2 major price differences, with the PS5 Digital coming in at $399 US, and the Xbox Series S undercutting that with a price point of $299, or $200 cheaper than the main consoles. It should be noted, however, that the PS5 Digital is significantly more powerful than the Series S, but we'll talk about that in our next section. As I said previously, there is technically a way to pay a little bit less for both Xbox consoles, and that is through a brand new payment plan that Microsoft is offering. You can get the Xbox Series X for $34.99 a month, or the Series S for $24.99 a month for 24 months. The kicker here is that this includes Xbox Game Pass Premium, which would normally already be $15 a month. If you don't like doing that math, that means you would end up saving $60 on the Series S and $20 on the Series X, which isn't a huge deal, but you also get the benefit of making payments, which usually end up costing more, not less. In the technical department, the PS5 and Xbox Series X seem to be virtually identical, at least to the not crazy computer savvy layman. From what I've seen, the Xbox Series X has slightly better hardware, but the way the PS5 software is set up makes it just as good, if not better in some areas. But yeah, if those kind of specs matter that much to you, you've probably already looked them up. The PS5 Digital will also have the same specs as the PS5, but without a disc slot. This is where things start getting important, because if you don't care to have hard copies of your games but still want the highest grade console, the PS5 Digital might be the one for you. The Xbox Series S is where the only major technical differences lie. Remembering that both the PS5s and the Xbox Series X are very similar, we'll just compare the Series X to the Series S. The Xbox Series X runs at 60 frames per second at a full 4K resolution, while the S runs at 60 frames per second at 1440p. This sounds huge, but the resolution difference is similar to the difference between this previous generation's Xbox One and Xbox One X. The X has 1 terabyte of storage, and the S has 512 gigabytes. The X has 16 gigs of RAM, and the S has 10 gigs. The X has 12 teraflops, PS5 is 5, but it doesn't matter that much, of graphical horsepower, while the S has 4. And that's all the boring stuff, so let's talk briefly about the controllers, which do have some major differences. The Xbox controller is very similar to previous designs, with some minor changes. The D-pad has been changed to resemble the Xbox Elite wireless controller and now also comes with textured grips. Other than that, the controller will be slightly smaller as well. The PS5 controller appears to be the clear winner, unless you just hate the aesthetic, but I kinda dig it. The controller will now feature a Create button replacing the Share button, and seems to be kind of an upgraded version of that feature. The new PS5 controllers will also have a new mechanism called haptic feedback, which is similar to a rumble function, but with more subtlety and variety. The haptic feedback can also create tension to mimic various trigger functions in the game, with the tension of drawing a bow being the most often used example. And it also features a built-in microphone, which is great as a backup or if you don't want to spend money on a headset. It does remain to be seen what the sound quality will be like, but we can assume it won't be amazing. So the big question is, when can I get my new console? The short story is, if you haven't already secured a pre-order, it's doubtful that you'll be able to get your hands on one without paying an exorbitant amount of money on Amazon. Both pre-release dates ended up being major catastrophes, and bots were able to purchase a very large portion of the stock. But companies are working to get consoles into our hands, but we might be waiting a little while. The consoles themselves will be releasing in November. For Microsoft, it will be November 10th, and for Sony, November 12th for the US, Canada, Japan, Mexico, New Zealand, South Korea, and Australia. For everyone else, you'll unfortunately have to wait until November 19th. Now, let's talk games, and for that, we're gonna do this a Christmas Carol style, past, present, and future. Microsoft has all the ghosts of the past. On the Xbox Series X and S, you'll be able to play almost every single Xbox game all the way back to the original Xbox. PlayStation 5, on the other hand, has promised that the majority of PS4 games will be backwards compatible. That being said, PlayStation streaming service does focus more on old games. We'll talk more about that in a second. In the present, at least until very recently, PlayStation has been known as the console that has the best exclusives. For the confirmed exclusives coming out this generation, they have Spider-Man Miles Morales, Horizon Forbidden West, Demon's Souls Remastered, the new God of War, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which I will definitely be getting because it looks awesome, Final Fantasy XVI, Godfall, and Gran Turismo 7. Not a bad lineup, and we don't have a ton of info on Xbox releases besides a delayed Halo, a new Fable and Forza game with an unannounced release dates, and Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. Looking into the future though, things are looking up for Microsoft. Recently, the tech company purchased ZeniMax for around $7 billion US. This company owns Bethesda and other major studios and their titles, including Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Doom, Rage, and Wolfenstein. No worries to any PlayStation fans that were looking forward to Deathloop or Ghostwire Tokyo though, as Microsoft has agreed to honor all previously made exclusivity agreements. They did state though that future games would be considered on a case-by-case basis. Then, there's streaming in the cloud. Everything is switching to digital and streaming, and gaming is no different, with Microsoft leading the way. Their current game service is $15 a month and includes a list of over 100 of their titles. And they've also recently added EA Play to the Game Pass, adding an additional 80 or so EA games, which is going to be awesome for sports fans. Microsoft has also recently made a statement that all of their first-party games will be on Game Pass on release day, including titles like the new Halo. Comparatively, Sony's game service focuses on older games and has a much smaller library. Sorry, but don't get a PlayStation for its Game Pass. Just don't. Finally, to add icing on the cake, Microsoft has also been in their works on their cloud-based streaming service, Project xCloud, which allows you to access and play all of your games from any Android device or Chromebook, so long as you have an internet connection. While other companies like Google Stadia and even Amazon have introduced their own versions, xCloud appears to be the absolutely best option. And that's it. That's all the important information. But don't worry, I've got a nice little summary and recommendation right here. Now, we've looked at all the specs, games, controllers, and prices, so now we need to break it down and look at who would benefit the most from each console. Keep in mind, these are merely opinions and recommendations, and you should absolutely follow your heart when it comes to the ultimate decision. So, here we go. The Xbox Series S is perfect for your average casual gamer, especially sports fans because of EA Play, or those that only plan to play 1 or 2 games at a time. The graphics will still be an upgrade from this generation, so you don't play that much, it won't make a difference, but saving $200 can. With Microsoft's recent pickups, they're now able to compete with Sony on the exclusives front, and Xbox Game Pass is just silly not to pick up. The PS5 Digital Edition is also for casual gamers, but those that prefer Sony exclusives or just Sony in general, but still have no interest in owning hard copies. Both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X really come down to which exclusives you prefer, or if Game Pass or xCloud are the things that make you lean in that direction. I'm sure that PlayStation will make their own Game Pass better in the future, but for now, Xbox just has it down. Also, despite it being fairly obvious that I consider Xbox the best deal right now, don't think this is in any way me being an Xbox fanboy, because I'm still getting a PS5. Horizon Zero Dawn is my favorite non-Star Wars game of all time. But with the payment plan on Xbox, why not get both? And there you have it. Hopefully I've helped make your decision just a little bit easier. If I have, click that like button and comment down below and tell me which console you're going to get and why. For future gaming news, hit that subscribe button as I'll be uploading regular content. Thank you, and may the Force be with you.